What's up, everybody? This is Brandon Hill, and today I'm going to show you how to get vocals off of Splice to put it into Maschine and make a complete song. And it's going to sound something like this. Feel the magic when our bodies touching. Ain't nobody like my love for you. So let's get into it. Okay, so here we are in Maschine. I just took the vocal out. We're going to start from scratch. So first things first, you'll create all your scenes, and then you'll lay out your song arrangement. So you have this build-up coming here, and then the drop. Okay, so at this point, you want to go get a vocal. First thing we're going to do is we're going to add another group. We can label it vocals, and then we'll just add a clip here. So we want this little 4-bar intro, and we imagine that we'll add a vocal. We don't know how long it's going to be yet, so we'll just leave this empty clip here. Now it's to get the vocal off of Splice. So typically I'll go to an instrument I use, such as my bass, and I'll confirm what key my song is in. So in this case, it's in C minor. From here, I would bring up Splice. I'd go to instruments, I'd go to vocals. And for this one, I was feeling a male vocal. At this point, I would select the key that I want, which is C minor. Then I would go through genres, and this could take some time. Typically, this is a house beat, so obviously I could go to house, or I could do a different genre such as deep house, or even if I'm trying to be unique, I might throw in a different type of genre's lyrics just to experiment. And this is all about experimentation and finding what you like. So imagine I look through house. I usually like to work with longer samples because I want to make a complete song out of it, and working with an 8-second vocal is tough. So at this point, I would typically sort by time so I could see the longest vocals here. So something like 48 seconds, you could work with that. You could chop up the vocal and really make a full song out of that. So to speed up the process here, I'm just going to take the name of the vocal that I ended up using in the example that we're going through, and I will find that vocal and demonstrate what I would do. So here I have it here. I've been looking now. That's the vocal I used. I would download it. Okay, there it is with the download. So at this point, I'd go back to my vocal track and then pull up Splice again. I would take this track and then I would drag it here. Now I have this vocal added to this pad right here. But you see how I have this clip here and it's empty? That means nothing's activated. That's because this vocal has been added and it's in the sampler engine. So what we want to do is we want to click plugin. You see how it's in sampler? I'm going to hit this 40 encoder. I'm going to change it to the audio module. So now you can see that this vocal has been added. I've been looking out for somebody. So you hear that? How that's way slow and it's not on beat? That's because we need to adjust the source tempo right here. And the source tempo is basically asking you to input what is the original tempo or beats per minute of the sample that you got. So coming back to Splice here, we'll look at what we downloaded and we see that the tempo is at 115 beats per minute. So then I'd come back into Maschine and I would type 115 right here. Now let's listen. I've been looking out for somebody just like you. But then you are... Okay, you hear that and how it's on beat and everything sounds good? So at this point, since I already put this on an example that has worked, all the scenes are laid out to go along with this vocal. So the drop, for example. Feel the magic when our bodies touching. Ain't nobody like my love for you. How I prove that. As this stands, this vocal, the way it is, it works with this beat. But you may have to adjust your scenes, you may have to adjust the length, you may have to chop up this sample right here to make the song that you'd like. But in this case, just for very beginners, you could load the sample on here and keep it as it is, and you could adjust your scenes to the liking so it works and it creates a full song. So at this point, this vocal sounds good. I've been looking now. At this point, you could process the vocal and you could add effects. For example, you might want to add a reverb, but this original sample already has some reverb on it if you listen. For somebody just like you. One thing I like to do is cut out the unnecessary low end that we don't need. So I like to use Neutron 4. You could use the stock Maschine EQ, but I like using Neutron 4. But then you walk on by. I'll do a high pass. And I knew what I had to do.
the way you're moving.
I'm going to solo this while I'm cutting it out so I can make sure that I'm not really affecting the main tone, the main sound of the vocal.
I wanna make you mine. The way you're looking.
See, if I went over here, it ruins the vocal.
It's like you put a spell on me. You're always on my mind, on my mind, on my mind.
I just want to make sure I'm keeping everything clear for the bass and the kick. So let's go with that. Let's take the solo off. Let's see what this sounds like during the drop.
Feel the magic when our bodies touching. Ain't nobody like my love for you. I will prove that I can make you cry. I can feel it that you want me to. We can dance until.
So at this point, I like where this is sitting at in the mix, but you could also adjust the mix of the vocal to make sure it's not so overpowering or to make sure it's not hidden within the song. So at this point, we have a full song. It sounds really good. And this is how you would take vocals from Splice and add it into Maschine. You find the key that your track is in, you go to Splice and you find vocals that are in that same key, you drag it into Maschine, you change it to the audio module, you set the source tempo, and then you'll adjust your beat accordingly to make a full song that you want. So if you like this tutorial, let me know, leave a comment, like, and subscribe as well, and I'll make more of these tutorials on the way real soon. So I'll get working on that, and thank you very much. I'll see you on the next one.